Are you curious or interested in investing in the metaverse? Well, Fidelity has you covered with their brand new ETF. Let's talk about it. So, what exactly is the metaverse? So, the metaverse is basically a virtual reality where you kind of hang out with different people and so forth. You see a lot of businesses jumping into the space. So, Fidelity created an ETF for this particular purpose called Fidelity Metaverse ETF, ticker FMET. This particular ETF was designed to reflect the performance of a global universe of companies that develop, manufacture, distribute, or sell products or services related to establishing and enabling the metaverse. Basically, companies involved with the metaverse, you're getting companies worldwide that does something involved in the metaverse in some shape or form. That's what this particular ETF is focused on. So let's look at some of the things here when it comes to this particular ETF. One of the first things I like to look at is the expense ratio. It has an expense ratio of 0.39%. It's okay, lower than Fidelity Index Fund ticker FXPTX, which is actually their select technology portfolio, which is 0.67%. So it's high, but not as high as their FSPTX index fund, which is a technology index fund. So the expense ratio, it's okay. This is a brand new ETF, so it just started in April of 2022. So you're not going to have like a lot of historical data. It's brand spanking new, so there's not like a lot of performance we can kind of check out and look at when it comes to this particular ETF. But what we can see is their top 10 holdings. And when we look at their top 10 holdings, it accounts for about 41.45% of the 59 companies in this holding. So it has about 59 holdings, but 10 of those account for the majority stake in this particular ETF. And if you look at it, there's a lot of big names that we've seen before from Meta, Apple, Google, and names like that. But you also have a lot of gaming companies that we're familiar with as well, from Nintendo, Electronic Arts, Activision. So it has a mix of gaming, tech, social media. So it has a little bit of everything when it comes to this meta world, which for the most part I was kind of surprised. I thought I was gonna look when I seen the ads for this, I thought I was gonna see like a bunch of like no-name companies. Obviously, Facebook is one of the names you probably was gonna see in there because of Meta, but they do have some big time players in this space that's actually going into Meta. So um, that's actually a good thing to kind of see. Most of these holdings, I'm pretty sure everybody's seen before, with the exception of maybe one or two companies. But for the most part, you have companies that's kind of worldwide, not just domestically in the US. And when you look at the performance, this is a brand new ETF, so we're not going to see a lot of performance, but it is down almost 5% since its inception. So it's not doing great so far, but it's a brand new ETF, and it's not a lot of history to kind of say. Actually, everything is doing bad right now, so we can't just blame this particular ETF being down almost 5%. Overall, when I seen the ad for this Fidelity ETF, I was kind of curious of what it was going to be. Like I said, I am pleasantly surprised to see some of the big names on there, like Google, Apple, Meta, and some of the other names like Nintendo, Activision, and so forth. So I thought that was kind of good there to kind of see some established names. I think it's an interesting play, but for me, when I look at this, it's not for me. I own some of these companies, the ones that actually want, like Apple already in my portfolio, and the ones I don't, I'm not too interested in a moment in buying. Plus, most of them overlap with some of my other index funds that I own already. So I do have pieces and chunks of most of the top 10 in this category already, so there's no reason for me to overlap and be heavily more invested in Meta for me. So for me, I'm not too concerned overall when it comes to Meta, but I think if you're looking for to get into the metaverse, this might be something to add to your watch list and kind of see, how it's tracking. Right now, it's not doing too well, but it might be something to kind of look at and see how it's going to do long term, and just add it to your list if you like the metaverse, if that's something you're into. But for me, as of right now, I'm gonna skip this ETF. I think it's an interesting play. I think it's more so based off of hype at the moment. But for me, I already own a lot of these companies and other index funds. So there's no reason for me to double down and overlap and be more top heavy in the same company. So that's my overall thoughts about it. I'm not a financial advisor. These videos are strictly for entertainment purposes only. In any investment may involve risk, so it's always important that you do your own homework. As we've seen in the market, is very volatile. In the market, you can go up and down. Right now, we're in a downward spiral, but I continue to do what I do anyway because I've lived through a couple of crashes, and I believe in following my philosophy and keep doing what I'm doing. And what's going to happen is going to happen. So that is what it is. I'll give more details on my investment philosophy maybe in another video. But until next time, if you stayed this long, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, peace.